Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 Me. Have you been for a walk around your town or city recently? Have you discovered some places that in 20 years that you've lived there, you've never actually experienced? Well, I have done this recently and find it really, really fascinating. And another idea for traveling, if you don't feel like getting on a plane or a train, you just want to do something in your own area, and you'll be surprised. Often when people come to visit us, we take them on little tours around the city or the town that we live in, and we think, oh, I've never even seen that myself. Happens all the time. But I just discovered some parts of the city where I live, and it's quite a small place, where it's really, really interesting and just brand new. So anyway, I want to talk about this. Rebecca Olkowski, one of our bloggers, wrote a really good article about her experiences in Los Angeles. She lives there, and she has kind of made it a thing for her to explore these walking tours in LA. And I'm sure in any big city in the States or anywhere around the world, you're going to find groups that offer a walking tour. And it's not just like walking around the streets, because that may not be your thing, or you may, just that may not be possible for whatever mobility reasons and so on. But actually, she says that, she's gotten all kinds of ideas that for things that are not touristic, but just, are interesting. So for example, she went on she likes these quirky tours, like a bit like me, so that not the normal places that everybody goes. So a secret art graffiti tour, that was one that she went on, which was really cool. An inner city neighborhood tour, so parts of the town that you maybe never been to before. And there's groups, I know Viator, and there's some other groups that do accompany you on these walking tours, but she actually just found them in her own local, newspapers and resources that are, there for offer in LA. So parts of the city that you never have gone. I remember when I went to Copenhagen once, I wanted to see Christiana, which is a kind of a community that has a bit of a reputation for being a little bit scary, because it's very alternative, and people live there. They took over the land maybe 30 years ago and built kind of a city, a little mini city, but it has all kinds of things that are unusual. So I hired a walker to come with me, and he met me at the entrance to this place, and we went through it. He knew it, he'd been there before, and it was so interesting. But that's like a travel one that he actually left. I left my city, went to Copenhagen, but there's probably ones in your own town that have a history or have a story that you can find, like history museum or other groups that offer walking tours. So inner city neighborhood, Victorian homes tour she did. And that sounds like a really cool one. And an old restaurants tour. Now that was really fun. So it gets you away from your home. It gets you away into the, your door, your living room, and into the world. And it allows you to see things from a different perspective. Get away from your computer. It helps you to deal with loneliness and depression. And also that gives you a way to meet new friends. So not to mention that walking is great exercise. So you can book these tours in the description under the video. Excuse me, I'll put some of the ones that she mentions, and then you can always go check out her article. Of course, hers are all related to LA, but you can actually find them in your own town. And there's a spectrum, so you can actually get tours where you can, as well as bike tours as well, but if you want to ride a bike, but you can do ones that are short distances, or ones that, maybe are an hour or more. We have a tour here in my town that talks about the history of the town, and it takes you up to the old towers, the old medieval part of the city, and it's really, really fascinating. And they do that like once a month, and they're free usually. So there's the historical tours, the walking tours that have a focus on the history of the place. Now there's another group. I actually don't know the name of it, because it was just research on Google or Bing and find it. But it was where local volunteers, they're kind of like a meet and greet. And if you're new to the city, they will show you, but it doesn't have to be new to the city. You just have to be new to that area or have a curiosity. And they actually are volunteers, and they meet on set days in the month, and you can join, and they'll take you with a group of other new people to places in your city. Now, maybe you've done this before, and you can share with me, because I am positive that in places like Chicago, New York, and the big cities, there's going to be these organized walking tours. But history of a place is always fascinating, even if it's not, a medieval town, even if it's just, like in the States, a lot of your cities are a couple of hundred years old, if that. But there's so much about the history of a place that gives you a sense of ownership and like what's the word, like participation, like you're part of it, you're part of the history. And so the stories that they tell on these walking tours are really fun. For example, I think Rebecca talks about in LA, there's a network of tunnels under the city. She didn't know this. And maybe this is something like an old railway line, or there's an old path or part of the town that used to be something else. And now she talks about I think it was in LA, where there was what do you call it, the Prohibition time, where they had to sneak the drinks underground, basically in tunnels and other caves, and they set up these little speakeasy bars and places where you could drink, but you had to go underground and knock on the door 3 times, and the whole thing. But that's a part of history that's really fascinating, and maybe that's something that you'd like to explore. So the other thing, of course, that this does, and I think this is to me one of the most amazing things or lovely things, is it gives you a chance to see how other people in your city live. It's a cultural experience. When you go out your door, get in your car, go out your driveway, you see your suburban area or your city area. You see it, with boundaries, like, the streets you go to get to the highway or whatever. But you don't see how other people live. And, whatever your feelings are about people coming to your country from other places, they bring with them a culture and a history and a contribution, this is my opinion, that is useful to explore and experience. I personally love going to shops in kinds of parts of town that are, predominantly Indian or predominantly from another culture, because I love the shops. I love going in the little shops and exploring the food and the different things that they use in their cooking. Not that I cook, of course, but it's just, for me, I love going in drugstores, and when I'm traveling anyway, I'm kind of a quirky traveler. But the idea is that your city has these communities of people from other parts of the world. London, of course, where I was born, is a great example of this. I mean, there are literally whole sections of London that have a great Polish community or a great Italian community from Africa or different parts of the Middle East. It's part of the city. And whether whether you want to go and explore the city or just the shops, whatever. I remember when I lived in Seattle, I used to go up all the time to Vancouver because they had a great Indian community there, and I used to go on these little tours of their shops and so on. But the tours are there for you to do yourself or with other people. They're just a really cool way to get to parts of the cities that you've never seen before. And it's called Free Tours by Foot. I wrote this down. In Zurich, where I live, volunteers do these walking tours, and I think the site is called Free Tours by Foot. Don't know if that's just in Europe, but I'm sure there's something similar in the United States too. And this company offers name your own price walking tours. Actually, it's in the States, it says, including New York, San Francisco, Washington. They're led by local guides and cover a variety of themes. Free Tours by Foot. Try that one. That sounds really cool. Walking Adventures International is another one. Walking Adventures International. They do extended things that involve like cultural, historical exploration. There's one called City Walking Tours. I forgot I put these notes here to give me some help. City Walking Tours, available in U.S. cities, and self-guided. Oh, those are self-guided. Those are kind of cool. You can actually download the map and just walk around by yourself. That's a kind of self-guided option. And then in Europe, if you're there, there's one called Sandemann's New Europe. Free walking tours, Berlin, London, Paris. And actually, if you're a tourist in these places too, if you're visiting Berlin, for example, to do this tour, it's like no charge, and beats the bus driving around. And then there's, of course, smaller groups like cultural walking tours, and that's a guided walks that talk specifically about culture and history. Gosh, I should have looked at my notes here before I started. So those are in Europe. But there's so many different options. And I would love to know if you've taken a walking tour, either like a self-guided one where you've just got the map and you follow the map. Sometimes they've got audio connections too, so you can, follow the guide, like turn left here, turn right here. At the right is this, and you can actually follow along, like an art gallery. And also ones like the volunteers do, like the one I mentioned in Zurich. But if you've got one locally, let's use this opportunity to share some of our knowledge here. just put them in the comment section, because when people come and watch this video and then read the comments, they'll say, oh, I live in Chicago, I live in Cleveland, Detroit, I live in, San Diego, and here's someone that's gone on this tour, this walking tour, like with someone guiding you, not by yourself. Yeah, I thought it'd be a really cool exercise. So if you don't know your own city as much as you think you do a walking tour. So I look forward to reading your comments. I look forward to sharing with you what knowledge I have. I'll put these links into the description under the video. But have a fun time walking around your city in new places. Explore new places. Explore yourself in different dimensions too. You'll be surprised how much comes out of it. Okay, everybody. Love you. Take care. Lots and lots of love. So take care. Have a wonderful journey out in the world, walking your city, and just wherever you go, just shine, just glow. You're beautiful. Take care.